Hi, this is Raya Papaya again in the Meadowway, and so excited to be back here today. Today, this one's for kids, kids only, no adults allowed on this one. We are going to be talking Meadowway colors. Now, before we get into what we're talking about, I do want to share a few things. So if you decide to come and visit the Meadowway on your own, you'll notice that if you see any of our staff in our orange vests, for instance, working at the Meadowway, then you'll notice that they're 6 feet apart at least. And if you had a question, then please don't go right up to them, but you can certainly wave them over and they'll come over and stay a safe distance away. But that way you can ask your question and they're happy to share information. So really exciting to be back here. If you have not quite heard of the Meadowway, a really quick overview is that it's a project where we're turning a hydro corridor. See the hydro pole behind me? See if I can point to it. There it is. The hydro pole back there. We're turning these long corridors where we have hydro poles that carry electricity in the wires to our homes and our schools and other buildings. So usually there's turf grass underneath the hydro corridors and we're turning it into a meadow. I'd like to show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to flip my screen. So if you imagine that under the hydro corridor, there is grass just like that. And then I'm doing the same magic trick that Chris did a few months ago on the Meadowway. So the turf grass turns into this, a beautiful meadow. In this case, we can actually see the line where it changes from turf grass to meadow. So we're trying to turn the turf grass all along this hydro corridor into beautiful meadow that makes great habitat for all kinds of different animals, different wildlife that share the city with us. Now, today, I mentioned we're looking at colors. There is a link in the chat in just a moment that takes you to this sheet here. So if you wanted to follow along, you're welcome to click on it or check out the link afterwards. And what we're going to be exploring is we're going to see how many of these different colors we can find. Can we find red in the Meadowway? Can we find orange? Can we find yellow? Can we find green and blue and violet? These colors here are all the colors that human eyes can see, that our eyes can see. Now, during this Meadowway live stream, if you have any questions, then you are welcome to put them in the comments, or if you have any comments, you can put them in the comments. And I might answer questions at the end, I might answer them during, we'll see what happens. But for our technical difficulty, did we have a flip? I think it's flipping. There we go. What's the main color that you're spotting in the Meadowway right now? You can put it in the comments if you like. You can call it out loud when I say 3. 1, 2, 3. I didn't quite hear you, but I bet you called it out loud. If you said green, then I agree with you. There is so much green in the plants of the Meadowway, in the stems and the leaves. There is a lot of green in the Meadowway. So that is one color that we can check off on our color scavenger hunt. Now, there's another color that really stands out here. Let's see. I'm going to come over to this plant. It's called tall sunflower and bring it forward to you. So what color is that blossom? Yes. Oh, I see that Annie and Wally did cheer green. Amazing. So this color we're seeing is now yellow. And this time of year, we are seeing some different colors than what we might see at other times of year. And specifically, we're seeing a lot of yellow. This is a different plant. It's called cup plant. And we've maybe seen this before. Oh, there's even an insect inside that little cup down here. Looks like it might be a stink bug. I get distracted easily by insects. But this cup plant collects water in the little cups where the leaves come together. And the flower, again, is yellow. And maybe there's another yellow. If I come over here and show you the oxeye flower, there's more yellow. And then we've got some goldenrod in here as well, attracting a lot of insects. So on our Meadowway scavenger hunt, or color scavenger hunt, we can check off green and yellow. I do have a pencil, but I only have 2 arms, so I'm holding my camera with one and a clipboard with the other. Otherwise, I would check them off too. I would even put 3 check marks next to the yellow box. Now, other colors we haven't spotted yet. Let's see. We haven't spotted violet yet. Here is something that I find so interesting. People often kind of don't notice the grasses in the Meadoway, but there are a lot of native grass species, native grasses. That means grasses that have been around for a very long time. And if we check this one out, this is called turkeyfoot, and you can see that it's really flowering there. Look at all those beautiful flowers that are popping out of the turkeyfoot, if it stays in focus. And the turkeyfoot has a lot of violet color to it. I want to show this one, this turkey's foot here, if it goes in focus, because if we look at it from below, you can see why it's called turkey's foot, or turkeyfoot, there's no S. It kind of looks like a turkey foot. And what's super cool about this plant is that cattle farmers especially know this. It's like candy for cows, or ice cream for cows. It's a plant that cows just love and can't get enough of. So that is our violet that we see in turkeyfoot. All right, moving onwards, what else can we spot in the Meadoway? Now I'm staying safe also by walking on one of the Meadoway trails. This is one of the kind of grassy parts that edges around the Meadoway. And as we are looking, we might even come across some colors that aren't in the plants, but are actually found in animals. This plant is one that monarchs love. So some of you might have heard of this one before. It is the milkweed plant, and if I carefully lower this leaf, can you spot another Meadoway color? Here we go. A red milkweed beetle, who is not coming into focus, is on the milkweed plant. And this, oh, crawled in my hand. Beetle on my hand, crawled in my shirt. This red milkweed beetle actually has the scientific name is Tetra something something. And the reason is because it looks like it has 4 eyes and it keeps moving around. So they actually named it in the scientific world based on the 4 eyes. Can we see his face? Now I do have a magnifying glass, so I wonder if that will help us to see our beetle. Hello, Mr. Red Milkweed Beetle. Very cool. I'm hearing some birds flying overhead. I don't know if you can hear that. There's the yellow goldenrod. There was just a bee looking for pollen there. And I think it's time that we do a bit of a check of our colors. So, got my sheet here, and this time I am going to use the pencil. We have found green, that was the first one. Yellow in a few different plants. So 1, 2, 3 check marks for that one. And we found violet in the turkeyfoot, and we found red in the red milkweed beetle. And so we're still looking for blue and orange. And maybe we'll find some more of the colors that we've already come across. Is there any orange in this bee? See if we can get a close look at this beautiful bumblebee. And if you see their back legs, they've got a lot of pollen collected on their back legs. It's like they put them into little pockets. And those actually look kind of orange. I think we've done it. We have found orange in the Meadoway. Excellent. All right, good job, Bumblebee. You're collecting so much pollen from the goldenrod. Moving on, doing some further exploring. We saw violet in the turkeyfoot, the cow ice cream earlier. But now we're seeing some more violet. And there's a beautiful white butterfly looking to drink some nectar from this violet. And this plant is called anise hyssop. So looking at it closely, we see that each little tiny flower on the flower head has a long tube, and sometimes hummingbirds will even drink nectar from hyssop plants, which is super cool. This one, if you come by the Meadowway and happen to find anise hyssop and you rub your fingers on the leaves, I'm not going to pick the leaf because I want to leave it for the wildlife to eat. But if I rub my fingers on it and then I smell my fingers, can you smell that? It smells like black licorice. It really smells like black licorice. It's so cool. All right, we've got some gray-headed coneflower back there as well. And I think for our colors, we're doing quite well. But there's one missing. We haven't found blue yet. I wonder where we can find blue in the Meadowway. Maybe if we come right down to the ground and look way up, there might be blue in the Meadowway sky. We have a beautiful blue sky today, and we can see it above our hydro poles, really, really tall. So now I think we have actually found all the colors on our Meadowway scavenger hunt. That being said, there's one more thing that I wanted to talk with you about. I mentioned that the colors we were looking for are the colors that the human eye can see. So our eyes can see certain colors. But there are other animals that can see other colors. And if we look down here, we talked about red, we saw red, and orange, and yellow, and green, and blue, and violet. But what's this? Ultraviolet? So there's other types of light that other animals like butterflies and bees can see. So rabbits, they can see the blues and greens and things. And squirrels see the yellows and blues. So if a squirrel was looking at the ground here, they'd mostly see that it was yellow with maybe a tinge of blue. They don't really see that green color. So different animals see in different ways, and some animals see fewer colors than we do, and some see more. In the case of butterflies and bees and moths, they actually see a secret code in different flowers to guide them right to where the nectar is. And I'm going to show you an example of this. So, this flower here is Black-Eyed Susan. And Black-Eyed Susan is one of those flowers that offers a secret code to different insects. On the activity sheet, when we see a Black-Eyed Susan that looks like this, insects see an extra ring that kind of makes a bullseye for them, and it looks like this. So you can imagine being a bee looking for nectar, and you have that extra little bit of help because there's an extra bullseye ring on the flower for you. So this was a picture I had drawn. This is a picture from a book of the same thing. There's even a pink part in the middle. And other flowers do this too. I showed you Black-Eyed Susan, where a bee would be flying and then, oh, there's the bullseye, knows exactly where to go. But if you've ever seen a dandelion, oh, there's a little piece of garbage in the Meadowway, that's lovely. If you've ever seen a dandelion, then usually you see this white flower or yellow flower. And what bees and butterflies and moths will see is a white flower with a red center. So some of the petals are white and some of them are red. And the Luna moth, for instance, is a moth that might, if they were to pollinate dandelion, this is what they're looking at. They're seeing those cool patterns. So next time that you are out in a meadow or just walking down your street even, looking at people's gardens, you can put on your bee goggles and imagine that what you're looking at is actually quite different from what people see. You can imagine seeing little bullseyes or extra stripes on the flowers that are all around you. Now, I've been talking a lot about these different plants in the Meadoway, but I wondered if you had any questions or any comments about some of what we've talked about. So I'll give it a moment. If you have any questions about the Meadoway or the flowers in the Meadoway or the animals in the Meadoway, you are more than welcome to put them in the comments. And if not, then I am going to just share with you that if you have a chance to come out to the Meadoway this fall, I really recommend it, or this end of the summer. Right now there's a beautiful breeze and there's so much to look at here. The sounds of the birds and the sounds of the insects are just wonderful. We are looking forward to working a lot with schools around the Meadoway this fall and getting the students excited about this space that's right in their neighborhoods. So maybe that is one of you, maybe you're one of those students who lives near the Meadoway. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on the Meadoway scavenger hunt. I will hopefully see you again, but for today, that's goodbye from Raya Papaya. Bye everybody.